Hi everyone, welcome to Otakusphere Weekly, episode 19, I believe. I'm Karen, and with me tonight are Lifesong,
Hello.
Sal,
Yo.
and back this week after our hiatus is LB.
Hey.
Yeah, we have plenty of current season anime to talk about, but since we all spent a little bit of time last week talking about what we had watched over the summer, I thought maybe you might want to let us know what you were watching during the month or two we weren't recording. What anime did you watch?
Oh, me?
Yep. You, man. It's all you.
I ended up watching a little bit of everything. For some reason I got into this weird habit where it was like, okay, I'm gonna watch something new, and I'm totally gonna challenge myself, and I'm gonna finish watching it, and it's gonna be awesome. And so I have like 8 series on my Funimation queue that I started and are now unfinished. So
yeah, that sounds about right.
That was last season. That was just so many shows where like you get to the middle and you're like, why am I watching this?
Well, I get the impression LB is talking about he wasn't even watching stuff from last season necessarily. He was just watching.
No, it was older stuff like
I get you.
Just like older stuff that I missed the first time around, and I was like, you know what? I'm finally gonna watch this. I'm finally gonna get around to just checking this out. And I would get about 8 or 9 episodes in, and then be like, ooh, look, shiny. Yeah.
Well, which of the things you checked out do you think you're actually going to be able to compel yourself to finish?
I really liked Trinity Blood. I really enjoyed what I saw of that, and I'd like to go back to it someday in the near future.
Oh,
I haven't seen that one.
Just as a heads up, LB, like the anime actually ends at a cliffhanger, and unfortunately, like the creator of the series passed away, and there hasn't. And I don't know if there's been a proper continuation of the source material.
Okay,
well like a sequel.
Okay, well then, never mind.
Yeah, I was just thinking, should I tell LB that that's one of those animes that completely goes to hell at the end? I don't know if I should. I remember. Well, I love the first part of it too.
Anything else?
I rewatched Ass Class. Well, most of it. Because the second season goes from hilariously wonderful to dark and depressing, like in a heartbeat. So I finally found the cutoff point where I had to set where I can say, okay, I'm not going to finish this anymore because it's just going to depress me. So I found that point. So now I know how far into the second season I can go before I need to stop before it depresses me.
Before the point of no return.
Exactly. And then Ouran High School Host Club for like the millionth time.
I feel like that's a show I really, really should have seen, but I don't think I've ever seen any of it. Maybe
that was the show for me that convinced me to stop making fun of those types of, I don't know if shoujo is the right term, but those types of anime. I was like, this is actually really good.
Yeah, Ouran is a show that I can watch over and over and over and over again.
How long is it?
It's 26.
Oh, okay.
It's really easy to get through, though. It flows so easily and so well.
Okay, that's cool. Anything else you want to mention before we move on to this season anime?
Can't really think of anything. Nothing off the top of my head, at least.
Okay, well, wait, I just thought of a good question. Was there something you started in your flood of starting new things where now you hate it and you definitely won't go back to it?
Oh, yes. Michiko and Hachin. I know everyone tells me that it's such a good show, but everyone in that show is just such an asshole. And I just couldn't take it. It was just like, everyone treats each other so horribly. And it's like, I don't want to watch this.
Yeah, I've heard good things about that show, but I think I read, like, the back of the DVD or something, and I was like, this doesn't sound like something I would want to watch. I don't know. So we're going to move on to this season, starting with the fabulous Yuri on Ice. Woo! Yay! Everybody applaud! Yeah, oh wait, the applauding isn't going to be picked up by our mics, so that's kind of pointless. But we're applauding in our hearts. Oh, okay, good job, LB. I'm really really liking the show. I was looking forward to it, but for some reason in the back of my mind, I think I thought it was going to be very like stuffy. It was just going to have a stick up its butt, but oh, this is a proper figure skating anime, and it's not like that at all. It's only takes itself as seriously as it needs to, and I'm just really, really digging it. I mean, I've always kind of liked figure skating anyway, so it's kind of a shoe-in for me. But LB, what'd you think of it so far?
I only caught the first episode. Second episode hasn't even gone up on Crunchyroll yet, I believe.
No, it has, but it only did a couple of hours ago.
Yeah, but we're doing a rule where we're gonna be discussing last week's episode today because it's Wednesday.
Okay,
the 24-hour same 24-hour rule as before.
Yeah.
Okay, coolness. In that case, yeah, I watched the first episode right before we started recording. I really dug it. It hit like at just the right point. I was really digging on the main character and his struggle and his feeling of disappointment in himself and everything. So it just hit at just the right point. So yeah, definitely is a show that I'm going to be sticking with for at least a while longer.
Yeah, he's so relatable, the main guy. You just want to hug him.
Yeah, totally.
Although I do think they changed like the way he drew his they drew his body about 15 times over the course of the episode.
Oh yeah,
I noticed that too. It's like he was wearing a magical sweater that hid his belly fat. It's like he put on this sweater and suddenly he's skinny again.
I mean,
until they pull up the sweater.
I think that was his mom that said like he gains weight easily. Like yeah, apparently very easily. It's just osmosis.
Yeah, I mean, I understand the scenes where they show his pot belly that's like exaggerated for effect, but then when he like goes to the rink and starts skating, even his face is like a different shape. It's like, wait a minute.
Yeah, I noticed that. I thought that for a second there. I was thinking, did I miss something? Are they in flashback mode?
Maybe the pot belly comes out like when he slouches, but when he's actually has his body straight, it stretches up a bit.
Anime logic, but. My only complaint, and I say this lightly because I'm so happy we're getting a figure skating anime to begin with. It's not really a complaint, but I think the animation could have been more fluid during the actual skating scenes. Like it was pretty good, but it looked a little jerky in some places. I thought. LB, did you feel the same or?
No, I thought that it flowed fine. I thought that it looked really well. This is vaguely off topic, but I particularly liked the character designs. I thought that the characters looked really good, and I really enjoyed looking at them and watching how they were animated.
I have a comment on the character name, or on the character design in particular, and that is there's the German guy named Yuri.
No, he's Russian.
Russian. Yeah. Okay, well that doesn't make it any better.
No, yeah. There's a Russian named Yuri, isn't there? I could have sworn I
is that a Russian name?
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, I think it's obviously it's pronounced slightly differently in Russian than it is in Japanese, but
okay.
For the purpose of us silly English speakers, we're going to be pronouncing them both the same way. Lysong, how'd you feel about it in general?
I liked it. I was a little down on the first part of it because I don't want to say it felt generic, but it was just I'm not big on sports anime in general. I have a hard time getting into them. But as it went on, and we got toward the part where he started skating, I was like, okay, this is cool. I want to watch this.
Okay, and Sal, you caught Yuri on Ice, right?
Yes, I did.
Oh, that's right. You had even caught it last week, and you were like, "Can I talk about it?" And I'm like, "No."
Yeah, even though you caught it too, Karen, we had to wait.
I deprived myself of my Yuri on Ice nutrients. Oh man, it was hard. It was hard to wait. But Sal, tell us your feelings on the ice skating anime of the season.
Aside from as a person who never really got much into actually figure skating, but actually enjoyed ice skating back when I lived in Houston, Texas, and it was like actually an ice skating rink inside of a mall. I enjoyed it overall. I think the thing I really like overall is just the way how the characters were written, like the supporting cast, like with Yuri, like that try to support him, like when he was down from leaving the competition, and like that whole moment when we went back to his own town.
Yeah, I'm just thinking of this just now, but I think often in sports anime, like characters start off kind of alone, and it's like over time as the team kind of coalesces around them, you get this sort of warm, homey friendship feeling. But in Yuri on Ice, when he goes home, you kind of get that warm feeling just in the beginning, like, oh, everybody here really cares about him. So it's nice.
I also thought it was neat how they introduced that one girl, he's gonna be his crush. Like, nope, she's actually married, and he's just like, it's just a really close friend of his that he grew up with while he was ice skating.
Yeah, when the triplets first popped up, I thought they were just going to be like, kind of like a one-off joke, but no, they're clearly important characters.
Yeah,
they're going to.
At first, I thought, wait, are those her siblings? No, those are her kids. It's like.
It wasn't entirely clear at first, but then later on, when she's like yelling at them for like using her YouTube account without permission, it's like, oh yeah, those are her kids.
Interestingly, though, like the whole ice skating sequence where Yuri was imitating that Russian guy he looked up to, that was actually a reference to Sayo Yamamoto's Animator Expo short Endless Night, which is probably that same thing. It was this ice skater that was skating in the rink, in this lonely rink, imitating the moves of this professional while he was performing at the same time.
Wait, so this director, she made a short using the same kind of animation?
Yes, like it was the same character design and everything. It was also an ice skating short, except it was called Endless Night, and it aired, I think it was last year when it popped on the Animator Expo website.
Okay, so I wonder if this whole show just grew out of this. If she did that one animation, she's like, you know what? I like that.
I think it did. A couple of things have now, right?
Yeah, but I mean, like the first Animator Expo short, the Dragon Tooth, is getting a TV special, like next year. I mean, the Dragon's Dentist. Dragon's
Dentist?
Yes.
That's what it's called. That's cute. Well, it seems like that's becoming a pretty fertile ground for new shows, I guess. Let's see.
And we have Ano to thank for that. Like he was the one that came up with that project.
Thanks, Ano. Sort of, really. I don't know. I kind of feel like he wouldn't like being thanked. He'd just be like, you don't even understand what you're thanking me for. Go look out in the sea and think about how worthless your life is. So, you know what I want to do, and this is horrible? I want to write a sarcastic think piece about Yuri on Ice, about how it's a horrible show because there aren't enough women in it.
Another mad prop that Yuri on Ice deserves. Like, props to the animators for actually drawing nipples on all the male characters, because you don't really see that in anime too much.
Whoa. Back up. Whoa. Oh, you're talking about in the hot spring scene, right?
Yes.
How did I not notice this?
I totally didn't notice that either.
I was not paying attention to the men's nipples.
No.
I think we may have been distracted by another one of Victor's body parts. Since that was, you usually don't see guy butt to that degree. That was impressive. Wow, I feel really awkward now that I just brought that up.
Gotta love that fan service.
Yeah, but now that we've discussed fan service on one end of the spectrum, should we go to the complete other end of the spectrum?
Yeah, sure. Let's do it.
Okay, Keijo episode 1. This anime is about girls who kind of do sumo wrestling, but they can only hit each other with their breasts and their butts, and they do it over water, and so you'd think crazy fan service show, right? Except it feels like exactly like a shonen sports anime, and it's actually a little bit weird, because I think it would, even if they weren't using, their butts, and if they were playing more normally, it would probably play out about the same way. So it's I'm kind of not sure what I even what to make of it.
There's a couple of scenes where they throw their butt at the other girl and it's like flying toward the camera, and I'm like, this is the exact same technique animators use for fist fighting.
Exactly. Not just that, but sports animes in general, like when the person does that shot or technique that's supposed to be like the finishing blow or the dynamic hit. Like the sketchy lines and perspectives and everything.
And then you have the girl who's knocking people out with how is she even doing that? I don't remember, but it was the most shonen thing ever.
Are you talking about the one that was like doing those really fast techniques and knocking people out?
Yeah.
Yeah, she was just capable of moving her butt so quickly that you couldn't see it.
Yeah, like at the end, she slams her hip into like the side of the main character's head and knocks her out. That's her KO move.
Yeah, that was very sports anime-esque. Like the one person who's doing like a ridiculously dangerous move, and it's like, this is just like you're kind of endangering people's lives here. You might want to stop.
Yeah, not jiggling their brain to daze them. Yeah,
you could probably win without doing that. One thing I was kind of disappointed about is that when I first read it, the capsule summary, and it said that the main character's a gymnast, I thought, oh, she'll probably be doing like cool gymnastics, and that's what'll make her special. But it kind of seemed like they were all sort of doing gymnastics a little bit. So I was like, what makes main character girl special if she's not doing gymnastics?
Yeah, I mean, they did show off her gymnastics like before they got into the whole water thing. I think that what happened is, judging from I actually have a friend who's read the entire manga, and he told me that they started, I think it's a manga anyway, he told me they started relatively far into the story, like not super far, but they skipped some of the intro stuff that would have been there to set up the character and whatnot.
See, yeah, I was like half expecting we were going to get a scene of her doing like high school gymnastics or something, and then being like, oh, but what I really want to do is Keijo. But we never got that scene. It just starts out immediately with them already doing Keijo. So, see, I really just want a gymnastics anime, and this is the closest I'm going to get. So, I don't know. It's like I'm not sure if I want to. If I'm interested in continuing out of a kind of perverse curiosity, or if I want to see her do more gymnastics, or I'm not even really sure how I feel. Sal, you watch Keijo, right?
Well, since I was already enjoying the like just how they mix the shonen sports anime shots with like the boob and butt techniques. I don't know, like it just they really did, for me, they did a really good job in kind of giving you the suspension of belief, like, hey, this is actually a really cool show, like despite the subject matter.
Yeah, they're taking the premise really seriously.
Hell, I even had a coworker or a colleague who isn't really too much into fan service stuff, but even dug Keijo from the first episode, just how the ridiculousness was handled.
Yeah, I mean, the general impression I'm getting is that the people that really wanted fan service are disappointed, and the people that wanted a sports anime are like, oh, this is actually kind of cool.
That's
like,
really
it's
interesting.
Great because the whole thing is like, yeah, it's boobs. It's a whole sport around boob and butts, and just playing the boob and butt angle to the max, and it works.
I mean, who knows what the future of the show will do, but
also I want to see when they're gonna do the butt version of Gate of Babylon, since that was in the show's opening.
Wait, what?
Yeah, if you go back to Keijo's opening song, there's a scene where the characters are doing like Gate of Babylon from Fate, and it's like butts coming out.
They're firing. What? Okay.
You mean Gilgamesh's?
Yeah.
Yes. So that's gonna be a big thing in one of the fights later on, I'm assuming.
I don't know. I think I have to keep up with Keijo, at least for a little while, because it's just too weird. I've gotta, like, it'll be hilarious to me if they actually, like, get so serious about the sports element of it, they actually start, like, forgetting to do fan service at all, even though they're still hitting each other with their butts. It just becomes, like, very serious and clinical. Like, oh, that was a very clean hit she just did with her butt. 10 points, you know? Alright, so, I guess...
I'm definitely down for it, and I wouldn't be surprised if Keijo ended up being like one of the best shows of the season.
Yeah, and of course I'm sorry, I was cutting off there. What? Nani?
Oh, I was just saying that with the way how the first episode went, like I wouldn't be surprised if Keijo ended up being one of the best shows of the season just for how it plays the sports angle.
Well, let's not get carried away. So. I'm not sure. And of course, there have been the usual reaction pieces to it, talking about how it's sexist and awful and we should hate it. But I feel like I'm like a broken record, like complaining about that aspect of the fandom. So I'm not even gonna.
Yeah, if those same people aren't going to complain about Yuri on Ice, what are they even trying to accomplish? I don't know.
Yeah. And never complained about Free either. It was totally the opposite of Free.
No.
It's like, oh yeah, look at this cool show where you can see all these dudes' abs. Oh yeah, they've got amazing abs, but that's fine. Okay. I don't want to go... I shouldn't go on that tangent again. You notice how I say I'm not going to go on a tangent, like, while I'm in the process of going on it? Okay. I should maybe stop doing that. Okay, one sec. Excuse me, I need water. We had Five Guys for dinner, and I had, like, a giant salt bomb. I don't know if I ever want to eat salt ever again.
Five Guys tends to put a lot of salt in their fries and stuff too.
And they tend to put a lot of fries in your bag.
Yeah.
I don't know if we have that over here.
Yeah. You guys have In-N-Out Burger, which we don't.
It's kind of like they're kind of similar, though. I still haven't answered the big question: which one is better, In-N-Out or Five Guys?
Well, I've only been to the West Coast for about 5 minutes, and I don't even know if In-N-Out Burger was there at that time, so so I got nothing. One of us has to go to both coasts and then compare.
Oh, Life! You said you went to the West Coast once. Did you ever try it there?
No. Oh, Lifesong. Okay, sorry.
I have not been far enough west to actually have it In-N-Out, and I'm vegan. I'm vegan now, so I will not be able to answer this question for you. If I do.
Well, I was thinking if they have a vegan option.
I don't know that counts. I mean, Five Guys has a vegan option too. It isn't very good.
Oh yeah, they don't even have the veggie burger option. It's just a sandwich without the meat.
Yeah, they load a bunch of vegetables on it for you, and yeah. It make you depressed.
Okay. We'll talk about burgers more on a future podcast. I think we're ready to move on to Occultic 9, which is, I think, probably a good show that I don't think I'm going to be watching just because it feels like it would be a pain in the butt for me to try to keep up with it right now. Like, try to keep up with everything that's going on because, the pacing is so fast and so much happened in the first episode, and that's not a bad thing, but just, I was watching it, I just feel like I don't have, the mental fortitude to, watch the show on a week-to-week basis.
Quick question, is White Fox handling this adaptation? Or
is it
someone
White
else?
Fox? I don't think it is. Let me check.
Yeah, I don't know off the top of my head.
I don't know, because I remember they did a really good job with Steins Gate.
Well, when I was watching the show after I finished the episode, it was it's like Steins Gate 8 Durarara.
Yes, that's exactly what it is. No, it's A1 Pictures. I don't see any reference of...
So, one surprise, despite it having a semicolon in it, Occult 9 isn't part of the official science adventure timeline. It's just its own thing.
No, but it is I think the same company owns the...
Like for the visual novel, I think it has the same people involved, but it's not considered part of the timeline.
Yeah, I think 5PB is actually making a visual novel for it, if I'm not mistaken. So it's somewhat related, even if it's not in the same technical universe.
Yeah. Okay. So anyway, I think if I hear it's good after this season, I might very well come back to it. I just don't really feel compelled to keep up with it right now. Life, did you feel different?
I don't know if I felt differently or not. I'll probably give it another episode or two and decide whether I want to watch it all now or watch it all when it's finished. I think I'm more or less sold on wanting to watch it just because I think it's kind of interesting. I was impressed that they managed to cram that much into one episode and let me come away from the episode and feel like I knew what they wanted me to come away with. What they must have introduced 20 characters, and the premise of this murder mystery style thing that's going on, and the whole are there or aren't there supernatural elements in this world, all of that managed to get established, and I don't know, I'm impressed that they fit all of that into one episode.
Yeah, I'm impressed with it too. I think it's just I'm going through a little phase where I'm really in the mood for light and fluffy stuff, and this is not.
No, it's not at all. It's definitely I think I said this before, but I could only watch so many shows that are on the really high quality I need to think end of things before I start feeling tired. And it's definitely one of those. Yeah,
I definitely feel that way. And sometimes I don't want to watch any high quality shows at all. Let's watch utter garbage. That's what I need right now.
Garbage is so much easier.
Okay, and this is not a good segue because this next show is not utter garbage, but Magical Girl Raising Project. We discussed this a little bit last week, but LB, now that you're here, you've seen the first episode, right?
Yeah, totally.
How's it striking you so far?
Within 55 seconds, literally, I glanced down at the timer. 55 seconds. I was doing the Evangelion Gendo pose, going, "You have my attention."
So basically, you saw the magical girls killing each other, and you were like, "I want more of this."
Yeah, as soon as right before the op started, I was like, "Okay, you know what? You got me. I want to see what's going on." And the rest of the episode did not disappoint. It did not bore me at any single point. So yeah, I'm hooked. I'm going to be watching this one pretty much all the way through, unless they really, really, really screw it up somewhere along the way. But I don't see that happening.
Are you afraid of it getting too dark at all, or is that like almost like that's the point?
That's the point.
Yeah. Okay. I think that's what people were trying to explain to me last week. Speaking of which, do you mind if we discuss episode 2 a little bit? Because it is out. I think Life and I both saw it.
Yeah.
So.
Oh yeah, go for it.
So you haven't seen it?
No, I haven't.
Okay.
Okay, but I'm sorry. I think you were going to say something else, LB, and I may have cut you off.
Oh, I was just going to say that the way I'm envisioning this series playing out is it's going to be Madoka Magica without the Urobuchi talking you to death segments.
Just Homura blowing stuff up with a rocket launcher, and that's...
Yeah, basically.
And so on and so forth. Yeah, why not? Okay, but I think I'm actually going to be kind of dropping out of it after episode 2. Not because episode 2 was particularly bad or anything, but just because, like, at the end of the episode, I was like, I kind of don't want to deal with this feeling of creeping dread right now. Like, I thought it was well done, but I was like, I don't really want to watch the show and be like, okay, who's going to die this week? You know, going along for many of the same reasons I don't want to watch Occult 9 right now. But, Lifesong, I get the feeling you probably had a very different take on it.
Oh, yeah, I had a very different take on it. Like, my concern with anything that's like dark magical girl at this point is that it's going to do the forced drama nonsense that these shows like to do, where they just assume that you're going to care deeply even when you don't really have a good reason to do so. And I really like the way that, I guess I don't want to say too much since LB hasn't seen it yet, but I really like the way the end of the episode itself played out, where it was just sort of unceremonious, and it made its point, and it made it really well.
Yeah, they didn't, like, try to hit you over the head with it, with, like, super gloomy music, and like, oh no, what has happened?
Yeah, no, yeah. And because they didn't do that, I spent a couple of days thinking about that scene. You know, whereas I probably would have just laughed at them if they'd have tried the typical approach.
So it's haunting you quietly, basically.
Yeah, as opposed to not at all, which I think that's I don't know. I was impressed by it. I'm hoping it's going to be something really good. I'm not sold on that it will be, but I think it could be. So I definitely want to catch it.
Okay, so unless I have a change of heart, I mean, I guess you and LB will probably keep up with discussing this one for the time being.
Sure.
I guess if anything, Karen, maybe save it for a show you could watch like at your own pace, like once it's all done.
I actually suspect it won't be as dark as Madoka Magica, but I can't promise that.
Yeah, it's hard to tell because we still don't know a lot about how the rules of this like particular game work, and like and just what kind of carries over from the fantasy world to the real world and what doesn't, and so on and so forth. So
right.
So we'll have to see. Okay, so moving on to Izetta the Last Witch, another one we talked about quite a bit last week. And LB, I'm going to guess you probably like this. Yes? Yes?
I liked it. I was never... Well, let me revise. I was never bored by it. So, you know, if I ever drop it, it's not going to be because I think it's a boring series. It's just that for the first episode, the tone was much heavier than I was expecting it to be. So that made it a little more difficult for me. I was never bored, and it's not like I didn't enjoy it, but I'm hoping that in future episodes it lightens up a little bit, and makes it a little bit easier to digest. If I drop it, it's gonna be just because I don't feel like something heavy at the moment. But
because seeing magical girls killing each other is taking all the heaviness you can handle this season.
Yeah, pretty much. But yeah, I mean, I did enjoy it. I thought it was well done. I thought that they introduced the story very well. And I really do want to keep up with it. But I think that this might be the series that I have to challenge myself to keep up with.
Yeah, I know the feeling. Sal, what about you?
It was interesting, like from the 2 episodes, like when we all said earlier, it was a very World War II-esque setting, and you have the whole thing with the final witch and the relationship with her and the princess, which at first it feels. Oh yeah, also I gotta point out, like that was kind of ridiculous, where she was using like a freaking rifle as a witch's broom to fly around and stuff.
Hey, that was the best part.
No, I was
great.
complimenting that scene. Like, that was amazing. and that especially the part when they were about to die. Like, oh no, they're about to die. And like, whoop, they actually shot the rifle while she was still flying around.
Yeah, the action scenes were pretty cool. I had a thought about. Oh, yeah. I'm sorry, I'll be jumping ahead and discussing.
Another thing I want to add too, like I could also say too, like the whole witch thing even fits well the setting, considering that there was also the whole witch hunt that happened in Europe and in early America when. But in this case, like witches are actually real and stuff.
Well, yeah, I was gonna say like the whole witch hunt in Europe was pretty well over by World War II. But I guess in like this alternate history, the witch hunts probably happened because witches were real, as opposed to in our history, but they just happened for really stupid reasons. Yeah. So.
And I mean, they even referenced it with that injury that the princess had.
Wait, what?
Well, people were terrified of the witch, and they went to hurt her, and the princess got in the way.
Oh, okay, that's what you're talking about. Yeah. Okay, but I was really impressed in this episode with how. Like, it didn't occur to Fine for one moment to use Izetta. Like, once Izetta saved her, she says to Izetta, like, yeah, you go away now because I don't want you involved in World War II. And Izetta's like, no, I'm a witch. I have magic. I'll fight for you. And the princess is like, no, I don't like this idea. You'll get hurt. Go away. It's just that I know they've really made a point of, like, showing how self-reliant and just generally awesome Fine is. But I thought that was really cool that it didn't even occur to her to try to use Izetta as like a tool of war.
Yeah, and meanwhile,
by the way, Life.
Go ahead.
The end of the show might kind of go like a Valkyria Chronicles type of thing, where it's like this small group kind of challenging this powerful nation type of story.
Maybe I'm not sure if I want it to do that or not, but yeah, it might. I think that the thing that has me most interested is the similar vibe that it has to Valkyria Chronicle. So. Yeah, maybe it will. And then maybe that would be a really good thing.
Or maybe it'll just stick to the basic, like, they're just protecting their nation while they endure World War II type of thing, which I wouldn't mind as well, too.
I have a feeling it's going to get a little darker than that, just because they've set it up as, the witch doesn't want to break her taboo and go to war, and what that will mean. But I mean, personally, I'm pretty interested to see, not like expecting deep political commentary or philosophy or anything from it, but I'm interested to see what it has to say and what it's going to really kind of add to this type of story.
Mm-hmm. And there's also the angle, like, what sort of data did Germania gather from when they had Izetta prisoner, and what will they do with that information too?
Yeah, there's the dude with the glasses and his whole part and things. I don't want to try and predict where he's going to fit in, because right now he's not really. All he's done is murder some of his own allies.
Because considering that we don't know how long Izetta's been prisoner,
I hope they don't make like an army of clone Izettas or something. I would not like.
We know it wasn't very long. They said something about how they were talking about rumors, but they said something about how she took out a platoon and then she got captured. So that would imply that she was captured, put in that thing, and they're carrying her around. Maybe there was a time period in between, but. With Nazis as your theme, clones are common. I don't know they'll go there.
I kind of hope they don't. I don't even think I have a good reason for hoping they don't, more than I just don't want to see it.
No, I don't want to see that, because I think that the unique aspect of this is that, there's the one witch, the one huge, super powerful person. And if you give that to both sides, all of a sudden it's... I mean, they could do something interesting with that, but that's not the appeal they've sold so far. That's not what makes the show interesting right now.
And then all of a sudden we get Magical Girl Hitler.
That's already a thing, and it can go be a thing over where it is. It doesn't need to be here.
Magical Girl Hitler, you're not welcome here in Izetta Land. Yeah. Okay, so move on to Uta no Prince Sama. Yay! LB, who's your favorite Uta no Prince Sama guy?
Who is my favorite? I honestly cannot. Actually, no. I take that back. Ren.
Which guy is that?
He's
hair color.
He's the sultry blonde who plays the sax and is always directly hitting on Nanami by calling her a little lamb.
Little lamb, right? Okay,
Yeah.
okay, that guy. All right, good choice. I like and I can't even freaking remember names, so great, wonderful. But I like the one who used to be a solo idol beforehand, and Nanami kind of had a thing for his music, but then he like joined Starish. You know which dude I mean?
Yeah, you and my wife would get along really well.
Is he the one with the blue hair?
There are two with blue hair, actually.
Is he one of the
He's
two?
the one with the. He's the one with the good blue hair. The other one has stupid blue hair. I
knew
like
he
it.
had blue hair. I knew it.
Okay.
But yeah, that's my wife's favorite too.
Okay. I mean, I am enjoying Utapri so far this season. I love that sequence in episode 1 where they're all like serenading her, and then like Starish comes and picks her up in a helicopter, and it just gets like increasingly ridiculous. Just like that's so Utapri.
Oh yeah, totally.
But I could be spoiling a little bit of episode 2 here, but it's kind of you can't really spoil this show. But
yeah,
they're trying to do the thing where they're trying to make me care about the other guys in Quartet Night and Heaven's Gate. Whenever I say Heaven's Gate, I just think of the cult, and that's hilarious to me.
Their name is just Heavens.
No, isn't? I thought it was Heaven's Gate.
No, it's Heavens.
Well, maybe one of the songs they sing is like "Come Through the Heaven's Gate" or something.
Maybe, but yeah, no, it's
okay.
Yeah.
But anyway, they're trying to make me care about the other guys. I'm like, no, they're all dicks. I like the Starish guys. Stop trying to make me care about these other guys.
Yeah.
LB?
Yeah, I'm here. Sorry, I was telling my wife about how you were calling them Heaven's Gate.
Sorry. But do you actually care about any of the guys in Heavens or Quartet Night, or you just like, get me back to Starish already, people?
Honestly, as soon as they introduced one of the members of Quartet Night as a freaking android, I kind of stopped caring. It was like, you know what? These other guys, they could be whatever the hell they want, but yeah, let's just stick with Starish, because they're real people.
Yeah, I'm just afraid too much screen time this season is going to be taken up by these stupid other guys and stupid other bands and taken away from our guys.
How serious is the show? Like, is there like no seriousness to it at all?
They maybe back in season 1 they tried to be serious every once in a while, but ever since it's been just camp.
I mean, I remember episode 1, which is all I've seen, and there were no robots.
Yeah, it's become. Season 1, they tried to be serious every once in a while, but ever since, it's just pure camp, and
gotcha.
Yeah, and it's better off that way.
Yeah, although does it seem to you like Nanami is writing the same damn song over and over again?
Isn't that true for pretty much all J-pop?
Ouch.
I feel like all the no Prince Sama songs are especially similar, but I don't know. Maybe as the show goes on, we'll get some different songs. Maybe they'll be a silver lining. Okay, so we're gonna move on from our gorgeous Prince Samas to Kaiju Girls, and I actually liked the last episode of Kaiju Girls because main girl transformed into Sal. Help me, what did she even transform into?
I think it was whatever her name. Like her name was Agira, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the name. That's her kaiju name. Like all the girls, like whatever the girl's name is, that's their actual kaiju name from like the Ultraman franchise.
Okay, but like, what kind of kaiju is she?
Well, I never seen her in Ultraman, but but hold on, she was actually a monster from like the second Ultraman series, Ultra 7.
But like, I'm trying to think of what she looks like. It didn't jump out at me like what kind of like animal or something she's supposed to be based on. I don't know. Maybe she was like an ape or something.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I'm actually looking at her original design. She's actually like more of a dinosaur or like a triceratops crest and a horn on its forehead, and it walks on 2 legs.
All right. I assume you are also continuing to enjoy Kaiju Girls. Sorry.
Mm-hmm. And what I like about it too is that it doesn't really require like people to be familiar with the Ultra franchise. It's just this fun these girls that were once monsters and were reincarnated as humans.
Yeah, now that we have all the Kaiju Girls can transform, now we can have hopefully fun battle antics starting from the next episodes.
Oh yeah, like another fun fact that the Kaiju Girl Zeton, she was actually based off the final monster that literally killed the original Ultraman at the end of his series. And Zeton is known to be like one of the strongest like aliens in the Ultraman universe.
Well, yeah,
But,
she seems like don't
like,
mess with her.
whenever Zeton appears in a show, it's like, yeah, everyone's screwed. They gotta go all out.
I'm gonna have to watch Ultraman if I want to actually like get all these references, though, won't I?
Well, like, I think in the last series last year, like, Ultraman X, like, they had this whole gimmick where the Ultraman for that show could use the powers of previous monsters, and there was one where he actually had to fight a Zeton using its own powers. And it was pretty ridiculous. Like, with the teleporting and barriers and all that stuff.
I don't know, I might be biting off more than I can chew with Kaiju Girls, but so far it's a fun 3 minutes every week, so okay. We'll go with that for a while. And speaking of shorts, did everybody neglect their duty to watch Gakuen Handsome? Because I don't think it was on anybody's list.
No,
Sorry.
I didn't.
Hey, I didn't see that. I didn't get the memo to check it out. Sorry.
Once again, you guys have one job. No. Okay, it continues to be just... I can't... You have to watch it. I can't even say anything. Okay, moving on to working, which I find I'm kind of enjoying in a comfort food kind of way. Like it's kind of like working is kind of like you get a brand of chips and they're not your favorite chips in the world, but they're kind of tasty and they're there and your hand's already in the bag, so you may as well keep eating it. Like that's kind of like what the show is for me. LB, what do you think?
I was really worried when I started because I was really afraid that it was just going to be some kind of cheap knockoff that paled in comparison to the original, but I'm so glad that they have made the new characters unique enough that it stands on its own and it's basically its own series that, you know, you don't have to be familiar with the original to enjoy the spin-off. So I really dug it in that regard.
I'm not sure about the characters. I mean, I said up front I'm enjoying it, so this isn't that much of a criticism, but I thought, like, the characters are pretty similar so far to the ones in the original series. Like, you've got, like, the cute short-haired girl who's very violent and punches things, and you've got, like, the kind of older woman who's a bit of a scary delinquent, and the details are different, but there's some similar things going on there.
There are some similarities. I mean, I saw there's that one girl who likes to take long breaks and smoke in the break room who's, you know, similar to Saito, but other than that, I didn't see like a ton of similarities. Not enough that it bothered me, at least.
Yeah, there was something, I had something on my mind with the show, and I can't remember what it is, and now I'm annoyed. No, it can't just be the fact that I want to eat in a Denny's, because I complained about that last week. Oh well, maybe it'll come back to me. We've got other shows to get to. I mentioned Magic Q and Renaissance last week. I caught episode 2 of that this week, and I have now dropped it. And, yeah, it doesn't have any of the elements of shoujo or reverse harem that people sometimes find creepy. Like, they do... There's just elements of those kinds of shows that people often find creepy, and Magic Q and Renaissance really doesn't have any of those elements. It's really quite squeaky clean, but it's also pretty dull. So I just decided after episode 2, I feel no need to continue watching this.
Odd how those go together, isn't it?
Yeah, isn't that... It's almost like the things that are kind of creepy are kind of what make it interesting.
Yeah.
Crazy. All right. So, I mean, I don't think anyone's, like, hanging on my recommendation to know whether or not to watch Magic Q and Renaissance, but yeah, I'm dropping it. So moving on to some things. Let's see. I have not watched Drifters, but LB, I believe you watched this?
Yeah, I really enjoyed this first episode. It hit all the right buttons. I knew going in that it was going to be tons of blood and gore because, you know, it comes from the Hellsing team. But so I knew that. But just the way that it was presented and the humor that they sprinkled in along the way, just overall, it really tickled me in just the right ways.
That's cool. We were looking through the list of different shows on Crunchyroll, and Wilson was reading that capsule description. He was like, "This is a show I will watch with Karen not in the room."
Oh yeah. Speaking of which, I'll be like, that was also a cool thing that the Hellsing series in general did. Like, it was good at balancing its humor with its dark tones as well.
Mm-hmm. I'm not overly familiar with the Hellsing series. I saw some of the original TV series. I haven't watched Ultimate yet.
Oh, the tone I'll warn you now, the tone of the original and the tone of the Ultimate, which is really the tone of the manga, are completely different.
Okay, that's good to know, because I didn't like the tone of the original. I thought that it was just too,
Corny?
Corny is a word. I wanna say they were forcing it to be adult, like, the vampire getting a blowjob and laughing about it.
Oh, no, that gets worse in the original, or in the manga. Sorry.
Okay, well, that's good to know.
Well, here's a show I don't feel bad that I haven't watched.
It is, like, I mean, that's the kind of stuff that they do that, and they're doing it to make you hate the guy, but they completely go 110% overboard.
Okay. Well, I'll keep that in mind. But Drifters, on the other hand, I really liked it. I thought the animation style was interesting. It raised a lot of interesting questions that are lingering with me days afterward, which are keeping me wondering and keep me wanting to watch more because I want answers. So that's really a solid selling.
LB, did Drifter's first episode end after the unexpected thing that happened to the main character?
You're gonna have to be a little more specific.
Yeah.
The one part where one moment he was in this one place and the other point was like, wait, where is he now? Like, that scene, was that at the end of the episode? That was still in the middle of the
that was pretty early on, actually.
That was really early on.
Lisa, I thought you talked about Drifters last week, but I think I'm confusing it with Trickster.
Not.
Yeah, I'm confusing it with something else. Yeah, sorry. Did you have similar feelings to LB? Did you feel different about it?
No, I don't know that I liked it as much as LB. It definitely wasn't like, it didn't give me that much to think about, at least not yet. But you've got Nobunaga teaming up with, I'm going to forget his name now.
Yeah, I forgot his name within 5 minutes.
And the worst part is he's an important historic figure. I should know his name just for that reason, but I've forgotten it. But I think like Nobunaga was the empire, like the line, or Nobunaga's army is like what put this other guy's army in a bad state in the first place, like with their guns and whatnot. If I'm remembering my history correctly at all, so it's like, okay, now these guys are going to team up and they're going to fight commandos. Yeah, why wouldn't I be interested in watching this?
Yeah, like it's pretty much like an East versus West in this unknown fantasy world.
Well, not only East versus West, but East ancient history versus commandos with sniper rifles, and you know that these guys are going. You know that Nobunaga is going to be a badass with his sword going up, like cutting down commandos. I don't know why that I find that interesting, but
maybe you don't need a reason.
Maybe I don't need a reason. I hope not.
Yeah, and Sal, if I understand, you didn't watch Drifters, but you like read the manga or something like that.
Yeah, so pretty much like I had a feeling that the stuff that was covered in the first episode I already read. So,
are you going to watch the anime? You think, or are you just going to stick with the manga?
I'm gonna watch it. I didn't even read it. I just read a couple of chapters. Like, this is interesting, but
see, now I'm imagining like you three guys are going to be watching Drifters, and then every week you'd be like, "Oh, wasn't it so cool? The part where he like skewered the guy on the sword," and I'll just be sitting on, which is fine, by the way. Don't let that be a deterrent. You guys enjoy. Then maybe when you guys are discussing Drifters, I'll just like step away from the computer, and Wilson will walk in and be like, "Yeah, how about that impalement?"
Especially considering how nuts Helsing got towards the end.
Maybe for funsies, I'll start keeping count of how many beheadings we see.
Like, I mean,
sure, that is a public service someone will appreciate.
Can they possibly outdo Helsing? I doubt that.
Yeah. Well, Drifters is still young. Like, I don't think the manga has even ended yet. So.
Okay, I wanted to bring up one more show that I know LB has watched, but I haven't watched. I'm not sure. I'm pretty sure no one else has given this a shot yet. Brave Witches. Now, I didn't watch it because I've never seen Strike Witches, and I wasn't sure if you were supposed to have seen Strike Witches before you watched Brave Witches. So maybe you can answer that for me, LB.
Honestly, I've watched the first 2 episodes. You do not need to know Strike Witches in order to enjoy Brave Witches. You do need to understand that the spirit of the original series is alive and well, so it is very much a pantsu series. It is cheap fan service, but oh my god, is it good cheap fan service?
I I mean, I heard that the original show was pretty good from a
Oh
lot
yeah,
of
the
people.
original show was really good.
How was the
really-
second season of Strikes Witches? The season after it.
Second season was very good as well. It's been a while since I watched it, so I can't give you exact details. I haven't watched the movie yet. I'm hoping to do that in the very near future now that it's out on DVD. But yeah, Brave Witches, it's cheap fan service, but it's really good, and I'm digging on it. And it's actually reminded me how much I enjoyed Strike Witches. So it's like, okay, you know what? This franchise, it has me.
Okay, I mean, I don't think it's gonna end up being my cup of tea, but I should probably at least watch one episode of it just so I like know about this whole strike/brave witches thing, like understand the appeal and whatnot. Oh, excuse me. No, don't yawn. If you yawn, Lifesong will yawn, and then we'll all yawn and we'll all fall asleep. All right. Let's see. And another show that I have not watched, but I know someone wanted to discuss, Classicaloid.
Yes. Has anyone else seen it?
I
was going to, but that was one of the ones I didn't get to. Should I
Okay.
have?
I mean, I think that a first episode is mandatory for this, just because of how weird it is. Like, there's this mansion that's like, they're all music themed. They're getting ready to tear it down. There's these two random dudes that are in this house that call themselves Mozart and Beethoven. They have stupid nicknames. They act completely ridiculous. Toward the end of the episode, when Mozart is trying really... No, it was Beethoven. Is trying really hard to cook the perfect dumplings with flamethrowers. The wrecking ball hits the house, and his dumplings fall to the floor. And it turns into inspiration, and he activates his reality marble from Fate Stay Night, and the mecha turn into like dancing robots. Or no, the wrecking ball turned into like dancing mecha robots, and everyone starts having this grand ball while he's playing rock music. I think probably somehow related to Beethoven's rock music. Beethoven's music. And then at the end, I guess Bach is evil. I don't know.
Okay, you could stop now because you've sold me. I will watch the first episode. And two, if I had a video feature right now, you would see how badly I'm face palming right now.
Of all the shows I watched, I was on the edge of my seat because I was like, this is bizarre.
Well, I too have got to check this out now. Wow.
So Classicaloid.
Yep, it's on
Well, it kind of
Crunchyroll.
like
What studio is doing it?
I have no idea. I didn't know anything about it before I watched it. I still don't really know anything about it.
and you're going to keep it that way.
I'm going to keep it that way because it was more fun that way.
Yeah, when you first started describing it, I thought, well, is it kind of like Bungo Stray Dogs, where the characters are named after famous people? There's like no good reason for them to be named after famous people, but it's like it seems like maybe it's Bungo Stray Dogs, but interesting.
Actually, like and I know this about Beethoven. Don't ask me why. I don't know who it was that told me this, but Beethoven thought he was a really good cook, and he was apparently really, really bad. That's like one of those Beethoven things, and they've got that in the anime.
Oh, Life Song. Since you mentioned like robots, it is Sunrise that did it.
Oh, is it a Sunrise show? Okay.
Yes, and it's an original Sunrise series. So.
Is it? It's not based off anything else?
Yep, it's based on nothing, so there's no way you can get spoiled on what happens next in Classicaloid.
Wow.
This is all going to be fresh in your head.
Alright, well, I think we all have some catching up to do, clearly. Okay, does anyone else have anything they want to mention? Because I have a couple of shows that I watched I don't think anyone else watched, I just want to say a quick few things about.
I've got two. I've
got a couple as well.
All right. Can I go?
You go first.
Okay, my two would just be a quickly mentioned Cheating Craft. No one else watched that?
No, I another one like Classicaloid. I was like, oh, maybe I'll get to that, but then I didn't.
Yeah, I thought it was kind of an interesting premise. It's very shonen. I'm probably not going to keep up with it. It's they have this really blowed out intro where like they're all about how this futuristic society is super equal, and then they go and show you all these ways why it's really not, and everything is based off this test-taking system they've got. And it's obviously commentary on... Well, it seemed to me it was commentary on Japan's test-taking culture. And I don't know, I thought that was kind of a neat take for a unique take for a shonen manga, which I assume is what it is, because it was very ridiculous. Not really something I want to keep watching, but it was unique.
The premise does sound kind of interesting. I might check it out.
And the other was Flip Flappers, which is another magical... Oh, have you seen that?
Oh, yeah, that was one of the ones. I forgot you saw it. I'm sorry. See, I told you I wasn't good to remember.
Good. Flip Flappers might be the show I'm most excited for.
Yeah, I have no idea what's going on, but damn, was it beautiful.
It was beautiful. And there's... One of the things I really love about anime is the way it can kind of become like a moving painting, where there's this sort of sense of adventure that's going on. It doesn't happen that often, but when it does happen, it's just it's one of my favorite things about anime. And Flip Flappers, the first episode's already doing that, and then there's this little weird darkness to it in the background where it's like the moment where they open up the robot after he gets smashed. Okay, and then they just slammed the lid back down and they pretend they didn't see that there's a human brain in there.
Oh, right.
Yeah. Oh, or that everything seems like it's real serious and dark while it's all being... I don't know. While also maintaining that adventurous aspect to it.
Yeah, well, one of the little moments I liked is when the blue-haired girl transforms, and she gets her magical girl, her cool magical girl hair, and Papika gestures to her hair, and it's lucky you or something like that.
Yeah. I thought it was neat.
Magic hair too. That's so cool.
Yeah, I thought that was neat too. I also noticed I don't know if this was a mistake or if it was done intentionally, but I thought it was neat contrast the way you've got her in that scene and her hair is flowing out back behind her, standing up. And then you've got the other girl with her magical hair, and it's just hanging down at her side. And they're both falling in that scene, essentially. So it was kind of oh, that's interesting. I think they did that intentionally.
Yeah, I would think so too. I'm wondering if it can actually keep up kind of this level of inventiveness, or if maybe by the second or third episode it's going to start to get pedestrian already.
It might, but they showed quite a few interesting concepts in the opening, various things they could be exploring. So I kind of get the feeling we're going to be going on multiple adventures in Illusion Land, or whatever it was they called it. I guess my bigger concern would be that it's going to be Monster of the Week or something. I don't know.
Yeah, I hope not. But do you think we're kind of in Dream World right now, in Flip Flappers or something like that? Or are they in alternate dimensions, or what do you think?
I don't know what the Illusion World is or what they want to do with it, and I think that the thing that has me the most interested in the show is finding out.
Yeah, I really couldn't hazard a guess either. I mean, probably if you go back and watch it after having seen the whole thing, you'll probably see, oh, they were hinting in the first episode that it was actually... We don't have that.
There might have been some stuff, because there is a lot going on there, but they also were real tight-lipped. The girl kept... I can't remember her. The normal girl kept asking... the not-so-normal magical girl throughout the whole episode, what's going on? Where are we? Where's everyone else? Nothing.
Yeah, I don't know if Papika was not answering her, or not even hearing the question, or did not understand the question.
She was answering, but the answer she gave, it was a consistent answer. I don't remember what it was now, because it didn't mean anything to us. So yeah, I'm fascinated.
I completely blocked out that she even answered the question.
Yeah, she answered the question the same way every single time. I forget what it was she said, but it didn't mean anything. It was something we didn't understand the answer. There's no way we could have. So
okay. All right, so definitely going to be keeping our eye on that one. LB, what else have you watched that we should maybe or not get in on?
Okay, so I know that you guys discussed this last week, and so but I really want to talk about this show with somebody, so I'm bringing it up again. Time Bocon 24.
Ah, yes. What we were talking about with the show last week is I said I actually really like the premise of it with them going back and finding out history's wrong, and then the bad guys are like, no, don't make us have to update the textbook, and like I thought it was just a really cute premise. But as I was watching it, I was like, this is just targeted so young. I don't think I'm in the mood for something for like a kiddie show right now, so I don't think I'm going to keep up with it. But I did sort of like the first episode though.
You see, well, the thing is that after about 10 minutes, when they introduced Cleo and Patra, I couldn't decide if what I was watching was absolutely horrible or pure satirical brilliance. Because first off, I was, on one hand, I was confused because I was trying to figure out why Cleo and Patra were doing modern Japanese humor in ancient Egypt.
Oh, you're thinking way too hard.
Yeah, I know. That part, that confused me. But then the main female villain, the head of the textbook society or whatever they're called, I noticed that her name didn't sound very common. So I did some research, and I'm going to send a link in the chat right now for the show notes. What I realized is that her name is actually modern Japanese slang, and it refers to a growing segment of society in Japan right now of older females who are desperate and ideally want to look eternally young and beautiful. And so when they make jokes about her not being able to cover her wrinkles, it's actually a joke. It's actually a poke at a growing segment of society. So it's not necessarily aimed at kids. I mean, yeah, obviously it is. But
have you seen Gatchaman Crowds or any of the other like Yatterman Nights or any of those?
Parts.
Okay, it is much more a kid's show than those, yeah?
Yeah, I would say yes.
Okay.
But on the same token, they're still realizing that, older people might be watching this, and they're trying to engage them with jokes that might appeal to them. So it's not purely a kiddie show.
Yeah.
I was like...
to add to what LB said, like, this has also been a thing that Tatsunoko's even done, even with their kids shows from, like, the 70s, too. Like, they would still have its little violent and dark moments, and it would have its little perverted, jokes as well, too.
Like, I was perfectly happy saying, okay, it's a kid show, it's nice, but not for me. And now you're telling me there's, like, this social commentary in it and stuff. And It's like, do I have to pick this back up now?
Yeah. I think that, first of all, we all need to watch Gatchaman Crowds, because that's what needs to be watched.
It. I watched both seasons.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I've talked to you about it before.
I think I saw one episode of that. Is that the one that starts with the girl who's, like, in love with notebooks or something?
Yes, that is how it starts.
Okay, so I've seen one episode. I started it. I do remember that I liked what I saw, but I just didn't end up seeing the rest of the series, so...
I just didn't have any interest in finishing after a couple of episodes.
It completely swings everything that it introduces in, like, episode 4.
More like episode 2, Life.
It starts, but you really see it in 4. 3 or 4, something like that.
Okay, you know what? Between now and, like, probably next week, I'm gonna make a list of, like, all the shows that I need to watch from, like, the last couple of years of anime, and, like, make a list of, like, which is the most important, because right now I just have so many and they're all competing with each other that I'm not watching any of them, and I need to start knocking them out.
I would say start with the ones that are on Crunchyroll.
Well, a lot of the ones on my list.
Yeah, what's not on Crunchyroll now?
I'd say start with the ones that are titled Ass Class.
That's true. That is high on the list right there.
Come to think of it, I wonder if Ass Class will pop on Crunchyroll later on with the Crunchy Funny collaboration.
Maybe.
Yeah, I think they're actually moving their entire sub-collection to Crunchyroll, if I understand.
Yeah, because from what I've got, it's like Funimation.com is going to be a dub-only simulcast, and then all the subs are going to be on Crunchyroll.
Mm-hmm. That's what I understand as well.
Yeah, I'm cool with that. More than cool with that, actually. LB, was there another show you wanted to mention?
No, that was it. I was just bringing up Time Bokon because I think not enough people are giving it credit for some of the humor that it's throwing in, and while it is silly and stupid and aimed mostly at children, the first episode has at least earned my attention for at least one or two more. It's either gonna be interesting and hilarious and satirically brilliant for 12 weeks, or it's going to crash and burn and be a one-trick pony after, like, 2 episodes. It's going to be one or the other.
Well, what's going to determine probably whether or not I feel like watching it is whether or not, like, because the episode 2's premise is the Wright brothers, and that I could kind of take or leave, I think. But if I hear it has, like, a good premise, I'll probably want to catch up.
Quick question, LB. Has the episode count been confirmed yet? Because there's a kids show. There's a chance that it could run for more than 50 episodes.
I don't know. Let me check real fast.
Yeah.
Okay, well, while LB's checking that, I wanted to mention Stella no Maho, which is another cute girls making video game show. It's airing on Daisuke. Crunchyroll does not have it. So today was actually the first time I ever watched anything on Daisuke. And I see why sometimes people complain about that service. But I shouldn't complain too much, because I was able to watch the show without any errors.
Did you watch it on normal Daisuke or premium Daisuke? Since now
do they have a premium?
To watch it as they air.
I watch normal Daisuke. I don't have a premium.
Oh, that means you watched it a week late after it aired.
Stella no Maho? I don't think Stella no Maho has even been out for a whole week, but you know what? I don't really know.
I think it just came out. It wasn't out last week when I looked.
Yeah. But anyway, it looks like it may be a little bit more game-focused than New Game was, just because they're a high school club that's making games, and they're starting from the beginning. Whereas with New Game, they were already pretty far into the game-making process when the anime started. So I think this Stella no Maho is probably going to end up being similar to New Game in some respects, but I'm hoping a little bit more focused on kind of the idea of building a game from the ground up. So I'm really keen on it, actually. Looking forward to seeing more of Stella no Maho. Let's see, what else? Is there anything else on my list that we haven't discussed yet? Oh, Girlish Number. Crunchyroll just got that, actually. It came out a couple of days ago, but it only went up on Crunchyroll recently. I thought it was going to be an idol show, but it's actually like a very cynical look at the anime industry so far. Like a very cynical look at anime voice acting. I mean, maybe it won't be cynical the whole way through, I don't know, but the first episode definitely felt that way. I was just surprised by what a cynical take on things it had, so I'm probably going to keep up with it for another episode or two just to see where they're going with that. Let's see. And a last show I think I've got on here is Poco's Udon World, which actually has a lot in common with Sweetness and Lightning.
Oh, it's about... I watched this. I forgot that I watched this, but I watched this.
That doesn't speak very well of it, does it? I liked it, though. I did. I liked it a lot. What about you?
I liked it. Yeah, I mean, you already compared it to Sweetness and Lightning, which it's a show that had the little bit of a mythical twist to it. Yeah, make sure. Yeah. I thought it was kind of cool. It had a good.
So is it about cooking udon while bonding?
There has been
a torrential bond segment.
There's been very little cooking yet. It was more focused on the loneliness of this guy moving back to his hometown after his dad has died. But it was a good start. I like the fact that it's not just the exact same show we've seen from 3 or 4 other shows in the last year or two now, like Sweetness and Lightning.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a little bit unfair to just say, oh, it's just like Sweetness and Lightning again. I mean, but because I don't know how much the show is actually going to be focused on cooking, I think it's just that the restaurant is kind of a focal point. But
right.
The actual recipes, the actual act of cooking may not be that important. I think it's going to be more about just the developing relationship with this little creature.
Yeah.
So I would recommend it to anybody who's looking for something cute. I mean, it's not just cute. I mean, there's some weight to it also. So it's not like completely fluffy, devoid of story thing. But it looks like it's going to be like one of the heartwarming ones this season. So I'm all up for that.
Me too.
And I think that's all I had on my list. LB, you were looking something up?
Oh, I did confirm they don't have an episode count for Time Bocon 24, so it's probably going to run forever, which means eventually I'm going to get tired of it, but that's okay.
Yeah, reason I was asking, because the last show Tatsunoko did that was a children's show, I think was the 2008 Yatterman series, and I think that ran for like maybe between 100 and 200-ish episodes.
Yeah, I'm not going to stick with it for that long. I can tell you that right now.
Okay, so it sounds like we're actually enjoying a lot of stuff this season. So I'm feeling pretty good about this season right now. What about you guys, LB?
Yeah, I mean, I There's only one show I can think of off the top of my head where it broke my make me bored during the first episode and you're done rule, and that was Bloodivores, and it sounds like that's pretty much the consensus for everybody who watched the first episode of that series.
I want to interject and just say that I did watch it. I thought it was a little bit better than people are giving it credit for, and that's everything I want to say about it.
Okay, cool. That's totally fair.
And your reticence to say more is evocative in itself.
Yeah.
Okay, so I think we're ready to... I'm sorry. Lifestyle Sal, I think it's pretty safe to say you guys are enjoying the season?
Yep.
I mean,
okay, I'm sorry. I just realized I asked LB a question that didn't direct it elsewhere. I felt really rude.
pretty much a good follow-up to the summer, because I actually thought that this year's summer season was actually pretty good.
Yeah, it was. I mean, seasons always feel good to me now. Whatever happens to seasons that suck, and
I liked the start of summer a lot, and then I got really bored in the middle. So I don't know. I'm feeling better about this season right now. We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see in like 6 weeks.
It is. It's episode 6 or 7 where you really know whether or not the story knows how to make that twist that's gonna keep your interest till the end.
Yeah. Okay, so thanks again for joining us, listeners, and we will see you next week. You'll hear us next week, to be more accurate. Let's just be pedantic, why don't we? Okay. Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Take care.